Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Impossible. We are recording here from the new studio version 2. I don't want to say 2.0 because it's not like an upgrade from the Impossible Podcast Studio, but this is our Columbus headquarters here in northwestern Columbus. Exact location will not be given, but we are here recording in a new space. And I ask for a little bit of forgiveness if it's a little bit echoey in here. But again, we just moved into the place, and so this is, sort of coming into, again, a new space, new environment, but still here to share some really, really incredible stories, some interesting and potentially provocative, but ultimately benefiting perspectives from some really awesome people. So, people that are pursuing the impossible. So, today I'm here with the lovely Riss Mullen. Hello, Riss. How are you?
Hello, Austin. I am wonderful. And welcome, Austin, to Columbus and IP to Columbus as well.
Yes. Fantastic. And it's a beautiful day. Starting to turn a little bit for the weather, but if we have a little bit of rain and thunder and lightning in the background for our viewing pleasure, not yours.
It's for dramatic effects.
Exactly. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine. So, though the garage door is open. So, but anyways. Yes. So today we wanted to discuss sort of what's putting us in this position, what got us here within this new environment, within this new position. When I say we, I mean the couple of tenants that I'm living here with and myself. This is a new chapter for all three of us. This is, the first move for me in quite some time. This is the first place that I have been able to not necessarily call home. I've been able to call my previous residence home for quite some time. But this is the first settlement of which I have my name on it and everything, I'm having to take, so much more responsibility on. And it's something that I've certainly done in the past, but as many of you know, but those of you who don't, February of 2022, I was diagnosed with nodular sclerosis, classic Hodgkin's lymphoma. And ever since that day, I was already living as a nomad to a point at that point, because I was, for work, I travel as a field service technician for a bus manufacturer, and I was working 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks at a time, and I'd come back here and just kind of travel around and visit friends and everything. So I really didn't have a home. And so, but then when I was diagnosed, it obviously, with having the incredible support of a family and friends who have become family, because of that, I was able to sort of pitch tent underneath the umbrella of them. And so it's something that I'm extremely, extremely grateful for. I will never, to be a bit dramatic, I suppose, in this particular word usage, but like I will never forget what they had done for me in those times. And I know it's something that's been not only life-changing, but very difficult to think about and to reflect upon without some tears coming to the eyes, without them welling up a little bit, because it was something of which I personally have been, we all have selfish tendencies, but for me, it's just always been about service to others and like helping others, and especially my friends and family. Like, I just want to help, and I want to help, and I want to help, and I want to help. And it can be to the point of which I've overextended myself many a times. And so when when I had those individuals come in and say, hey, we got you, that was, it's something that my brain at first clicks. Like, I would do that for them in a heartbeat, but I don't know. I don't like to expect that in response, or I don't expect that to be reciprocated. And so when it happened, it was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. So I take it to a very deep place, and I treasure it, and so moving forward, moving into this new place, into northwestern Columbus, Ohio, that is, not Indiana. My gosh.
Or Georgia.
Or Georgia. Yeah, that too. That's fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, it's not 95 degrees and 80% humidity outside right now. So, but it's a place that I get to start to call home. And moving on from the help of those from those others, I really just means that we need to, but I need to make sure that I use and utilize this time to the best of my abilities and to the best of what I've been given in this opportunity. So it's fantastic. And Riss, you are a native of the Columbus area, at least. So it was really, really nice to be able to come up here and move into an environment of which I have known, and we all have known for quite some time, that has lots of people here, one of the 3 big cities of Ohio. But for someone like me moving to Columbus, in terms of opportunities of not just being around many people, but like what would that bring in itself? What does an opportunity like this, in your mind, mean for myself and my fellow tenants?
What does moving to Columbus mean for you guys?
Yeah, moving to Columbus, moving to a big city, because all 3 of us are coming from, having grown up in very small towns. 2 of us southeastern Ohio, well, all 3 of us southeastern Ohio, most recently somewhere in New Mexico for one, but coming from extremely small towns to then, from 1,000 to single digit million people, it's quite the factor that we've increased the population that we're sitting around. So what does it mean, like, move into a city like this? Do you think, like, what opportunities could come from that, and what can be taken advantage of at least?
Yeah. Well, I think you'll find that Columbus still has its small town feel, and myself growing up in a small town as well, just northeastern of Columbus, still about 30-40 minutes outside of the city. So I still grew up in a small farm town, and obviously only 30 minutes outside of the city, and being able to travel in, being able to go to college in the city, and of course get very acquainted with all of the surrounding neighborhoods and suburbs and downtown as well. I think you'll find Columbus is not a big city already. It is the smallest of the 3 big cities in Ohio, correct? And it has small town feels, but it is such a gem. And I think I'm so excited for you guys to be here, because I do really believe that the opportunities here are endless and growing every day. I think for Impossible Performance to now have some roots here in Columbus is just going to be incredible opportunity for more guests and for just more community that is closer to a larger city where people can travel into, and people come for, you have the Arnold Classic that we went to a couple months back, and you have a lot of great community and events and so much to explore here. And not that you might not have that in other parts of Ohio. However, I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air for you guys, and just exciting, and a new beginning, which I know we want to talk about that as well.
Yes. Yeah. A new beginning for, as I alluded to in the beginning, sort of a new chapter for the 3 of us in our, individual stories, something that we do get to share so that we can, have some influence on each of our unique books or novels of life. But for me, of what I can speak to, at least, because there's something really incredible, not only in terms of opportunity, but I think in terms of where I have been heading personally, in terms of reflection, in terms of acceptance, in terms of gratefulness, thankfulness, and all of that good stuff. I think most importantly, it was time for me to, and I don't want to say move on, but I think it is just starting a new chapter, starting the next chapter. I really, coming off of, we're looking at 4 years and 2 months now, that since the month that I was diagnosed with cancer. And these past, we'll just say 4 years, for to save a little bit of time. These past 4 years have been something so profoundly unique, so profoundly in its own right, devastating to a degree, and yet profoundly rich in experiences and lessons, and ultimately sort of this prepared canvas of which has just been sitting there waiting for me to really paint something of which I am able to do in the most raw sense, in the most unfiltered sense. And that, I feel, has been okay. That has been the most enriching experience and the most enriching feeling about this path that I've had to go down in the past few years, where I've been between a couple of residences of which have housed me, and which I have gone on to have to be on short-term or long-term disability, then back to work, and then disability, then back to work, and you keeping track of that, and then just the mountains and mountains of medical bills, and then those being all the life things that I've had to deal with that were just a complete 180 from what I had sort of prescribed myself in October, November of 2021. Because in November 2021, I had taken a trip with a very, very good friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, to Manchester, to England. And we were looking at both of us continuing our studies in music, going towards a master's degree. And there at the University of Salford, to which he's actually there now. So shout out to him. But yes, we were looking towards that. And that was that I had prescribed myself, fall of 2022, going to Manchester and really trying to tackle a passion that was, again, music is something that'll never leave me, and I certainly would love to, and still love to, and intend on sharing and serving within that passion. But I think when I was diagnosed, it was almost a bit of a sign that maybe the gods had something else for me to accomplish, something else for me to pursue within that realm of passion and of service. Because I guess service is a passion of mine, but I certainly keep those separate as well, because they both where within they both lie in their each unique manner. I certainly want to give them each their own sort of blog to post on, you know, because they both are willing to have sort of these deliverable and
their own paths, right?
Their own paths, yes, but also their own, the attention and ultimately the ability for you to go down one path while completely ignoring the other. So they're unique, but you can do one without really attaching to the other to a point. And what I think allowed me to come in and say, okay, I have this passion to serve, but I need to make sure that the passion is settled and taken care of, but also that in the service that's taken care of it as well. And if I can get into the passion to then serve others, I can connect them both. But they're each their own unique monster, I suppose. And that's why I wanted to make sure that I really took care of. And I wonder, again, that and every other conversation and essay that I write on what was supposed to happen and what ended up happening and what could happen still, like all of that is just really, 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 it's difficult for me to really hone down on whether it's they or just the universe, whatever was supposed to happen is happening. And to try to put my finger on it, I don't know if that's I think it's a worthwhile venture to ponder, but for me to search for answers, I feel is a bit not on the cards for quite some time. Once I have all the time in the world, which will probably be never, because I don't like to give that to myself, but that's something for me to figure out later. Is the answer as to why I was put down this path instead of pursuing that music degree, because that was so much. So I was so happy as well, and that was the striking part, was that in those moments where I didn't know that I had cancer and that I was thinking about the opportunity to go study, like I was just so wildly joyful for that opportunity. Yet it was, but in a way, violently stripped from me in that moment. Merely, not even 3 months later. So what did that look like from, you had this one, you were 22? How old were you at that point? 23,
24?
Oh my. 26, I believe, right before,
when you were
diagnosed. It was right before my 26th birthday.
Okay, so what was that like when you were 26? You have this plan. I'm going to go to Manchester. I'm going to study music. You get the diagnosis. 4 years later, you're finally in a place where, you're 18, 19, 20 months out of remission.
Current remission period it'd be 14 to 15 months.
Okay. To then decide, like, where was the period that you decided to move to Columbus, or that you wanted to move, that you wanted to finally maybe have another dream, right? Maybe it wasn't going back to study music in Manchester, but you had that very specific idea. So when was it, post recovery, when you were living with Matt, and when was it, and what did that look like, that decision to say, okay, I think I'm ready to finally move on, move somewhere, have another dream, have another plan? And what did that look like?
That would have been middle of 2025. I think it was I don't know if I can put an exact day on it. I started playing around with the idea of moving to Columbus. It would have been July, August, and then I think especially, we can just say with September. So September came my 9-month checkup, 9-month follow-up from the bone marrow transplant. And that is where I had a lot of mixed emotions, because I had not made it that far into remission up until that point. And so going in for those tests, I was wildly concerned of...
Were you sold? Like, were you...
Oh, no. No, even now, I'm not 100% sold that I'm,
Well, no,
cancer-free.
I meant the other way. Were you sold that, like, it's got to be back? Were you like, there's no
I think I was in the middle, because unfortunately at that point, the nodes above my right clavicle had started to kind of get inflamed and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I was just like, oh, shoot, here we go again. I relapsed again after going through a BMT, which is, I don't recommend it for anybody, unless you need it. But unless you need it,
If you need one, please go get one.
Yeah. But
if you don't need one, don't get one.
Yeah, don't get one. It wasn't fun. Not in the slightest. I mean, it took me 6 to 9 months just to recover from. So, yeah. We got jokes, people. So, but yeah, I was right in the middle, because I had the inflamed nodes, but I was just like, well, it's a daily struggle. Like you one day you're like, oh, the nodes don't feel that bad, we should be fine. Then the next day you're like, oh, I have kind of a discomfort here, and then I have discomfort down here, and then kind of in the armpit too. And I had nodes in the armpit at one point, so it was just this like constant just back and forth of like positive, negative for about a month and a half leading up to my 9-month checkup. And once we got to the checkup, the CT scan showed no lymphadenopathy, so I was in the clear at that moment. And so coming out of that, again, August to September time, I was thinking about the move to Columbus. I started, throwing the idea to one of the tenants here, and then all of a sudden, it just, once that hit of I was free, I was like, all right, let's get moved to Columbus. Yeah. And I mean, what sparked it? I don't know. I think part of it was just for my occupation. It would just be a little bit nicer starting from here instead of my previous place of residence. And so, that would ease up some time. Two, I love parts of the city. I love Bridge Park. I love Dublin. I love Powell. I love being around Polaris. Not Polaris, the shopping mall itself, but there's a lot going on around it. And then, little did I know that I would find somebody. I would find somebody very, very important who is, the most important person in my life now. Who happens to be sitting across the table from me, by the way, for those of you who don't know. Her name is Riss Mullen. Fantastic human being.
She's all right.
Phenomenal. Superstar. Little did I know that I was going to find somebody here. Now, obviously, when I went searching for my future partner, I was looking for somebody in Columbus, obviously, but then finding you here and you having a very good career here, working your butt off here, and wanting to continue to live here, things were really falling into place. I will say at first it was almost not going to happen that way to a point, because we originally were going to be moving in, kind of November or December time. Mm-hmm. But then just we had the potential of the third person, living with us, and so we kind of waited. And that was kind of going back and forth for a little bit, and I'm really happy that that happened, because maybe at that point I would have found a different way to search for someone. So I'm very happy that that all worked out the way that it did, and that it did go back and forth a little bit like it did.
Because we didn't meet till...
I didn't find your profile until late December, early January. And then it was 2 to 3 weeks after that before you had messaged me back. So yeah.
Story for another time.
Yeah. But it was about a month after I messaged you that you messaged me back. But like, I'm very thankful that that we had waited that time and waited it out. Because like I said, I could have found potentially could have found a different way to search for someone at that point. But yeah, so in summation of all of that, it was, going into September, I was really wanting to kind of like just a different scene as well, a different environment. Nothing wrong with the environment that I was in before. I personally needed something different. I wanted a place that had, again, my name on, some of the stuff, and just where I can rest my head and see the thing that I was working so gosh dang hard for, and to really, and just to be in a different environment. I don't mind the foothills of West Virginia, but or the foothills of the Appalachians, but
basically West Virginia.
But I need real mountains.
I'm not gonna find that in Ohio anyway.
Yeah,
so.
but I wanted a different scene. And especially the small town as well. I grew up in a small town, resided in a small town. Parkersburg is just a big small town. No offense to those in Parkersburg, but it's for me, it's not a city. I've been in some of the biggest and the most culturally diverse and the largest, but also the oldest cities in the world. It's not a city. And Columbus there's just a lot more to do. Obviously, it's quite a larger population than Parkersburg. So hopefully no offense is taken. It doesn't matter if it is or not. But and so it just, I wanted a different environment. I grew up in that environment, and I was in that environment, even into university. I mean, I went to university in a town of like 1,200 people plus the university, so you took it up to about 5,000 or 6,000 in total. And then I left for Kalamazoo, which was again just a small city. Was it 20, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, something like that. And then I went back, and then I went to being a nomad, and then diagnosis. I went to living, family and friends taking me in. Thank you. But those were in small towns, between my hometown and then a small town. And it's just, I needed something different, different pace. I wanted more things to do. I wanted more options of just like of places to go, places to eat, places to train, things to experience. Because I felt like for me to experience new things, I had to travel very, very far. And what I found through my occupation is that there are some pretty cool cities, in the United States too. But
also difficult to travel from there in general. I mean, you were driving up to Columbus just to get on a plane anyway.
Exactly. If I wanted to hop on a plane, it was a 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
And so, and now I'm 30 minutes from the airport, not 2.5 hours from the airport. So,
what did you say going from? You talk about the past 4 years of your life really being, even before that, being a nomad, not really have like roots planted, kind of living again with family, with friends, kind of living in other people's spaces and not really having your own roots down. So this being, again, with roommates, it's still a shared space. However, something with your name on it, something coming out of your paycheck. What is it? What's the, like, what do you think is going to be maybe not the biggest shock, but the biggest difference between, or the biggest thing that you're going to find within yourself and within this new chapter of your life between the nomad life versus this life that now has a house and bills to pay and more solid footing in one place? Like, what does that look like for you?
Solidity, safety, security, and to experience a different version of home, but one that's, again, the one that has more responsibility on my shoulders, to take on that responsibility willingly, and to, I would say like security and safety especially, and I don't mean in the way of, oh, I wasn't safe in those previous residences. That's not what I'm trying to insinuate, but it's more of just like, it's now my responsibility to make sure that I have a roof above my head, and that comes with the responsibility of ensuring the safety and the security of those of whom are here and those who visit, and I again, as I said earlier, I'm here to serve others, and for those that I'm willing to cook for, those who I'm willing to serve food at the dinner table, when they come here, I want them to feel the same. I mean, that's why we're living in the particular neighborhood that we are. It's it's nice, it's safe, it's quiet, it's so quiet, and having that not only for the guests, for my I say friends, but they're all family. So I ain't got friends, I got family. Having it for them is paramount, but the ultimate is having it for myself and to whomever my partner is going to be, which is you, obviously. But that was the responsibility that I wanted to take on, was to provide that, was to present it in a communal fashion. Obviously, I don't own the house. I'm one of 3 renters, but having that responsibility on our shoulders, my shoulders and their shoulders, equally, to present a household that is inviting and warm and clean and well taken care of and looked after, like all of that. I wanted that.
A new space for you to, I mean, it's a clean slate, right? I mean, the house
clean slate,
completely
new chapter,
empty and beautiful and brand new, and you now have a lawn to take care of, and obviously furnishing a new place, and obviously, like, I mean, I can relate because I am currently living a nomad life now between your place and my parents' place and other hotels and work trips, and your work trips, my work trips. And so it's nice because, I mean, before, the last, few months of our lives have been living genuinely out of suitcases, either staying in someone's basement in a hotel. And now you finally having space here for us to kind of like have a home base. And while I will be getting my own place here shortly, it has been a nice breath of fresh air for you to be here finally, and like a little less travel than what we normally do, because we both travel a lot. And now that we don't have to, you're not making a pit stop Columbus, picking me up and then driving another 2 hours, right? It's just so nice for you to be here and for me to be at your house and then be like, I have to go stop at my parents' house, or I have to go see my nephews, and know that you're still here. And again, just like proximity to things and places. And I, of course, being born and raised in Columbus, in the Columbus area, having all of my community here has been just so nice for you and you guys and all of you to come. And your friends and family have just been welcomed me like with open arms, who have so quickly become family as well. And I personally am really excited for the community that we'll be able to build here, and just with some of, you know, your friends and family that have come here, my friends and family, of course, finding a new home base for a gym, and then the fitness community or wellness community in Columbus, and kind of like, yeah, settling in here. And it's really exciting, and I'm so happy you're here.
Happy to be here. And it was, you know, it was nice that we already have friends here.
Mm-hmm.
So Zach and Kate of Battle Flow. So
got a great work in this morning.
Yeah, workout this morning.
Best Indian food ever
great
last
dinner
night.
Last night. So that was fantastic. So.
It is called, I don't know how to pronounce this, but Aragon. It's not Aragon.
It's
that's
like
Lord of the Rings.
Aang.
Angon. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, we'll have to find out.
It's absolutely delicious.
To butcher it. So
yeah, it is absolutely delicious. Definitely go check it out. Some of the best Indian food I've quite literally ever had.
And so like having friends here already that we've made just in a short amount of time, and you know, not through IP, but also just like you said, the opportunities for us to find just other communities, like for one of the tenants and myself running communities. Yeah. So because we have the full marathon coming up for Columbus,
for me,
half for you, and full for us. So that's also very, very exciting, and it was really a joyful experience in finding neighborhoods that were going to be sort of what's the word that we're kind of finding particular unique characteristics about different neighborhoods and what they're, you know, what they were kind of ready for. So in this case here, where we came out here, we're far enough away from 270 that, you know, if we have to run on a road, like it's not terrible traffic, but there's also plenty of parks, plenty of just actual like walking paths.
This area, oh my God.
And we're not that far from Sawmill, but we're far enough north to where it's got a wide sidewalk that just goes all the way down.
Oh my God, you could on the Scioto Mile, like our first date, we took a beautiful walk down Bridge Park.
Yeah. Bridge Park is also just nice to have there. I love Sweetwater's Cafe, Fado's. I love the Irish pub.
You loving an Irish pub, weird.
I know, it's strange.
Super strange.
So it's because they have black pudding. That's the only reason why that I love it. I'm just kidding. I love both locations, but Bridge Park especially is just super nice. But
so what about, because again, like you come from nomad life to having some roots down, like what do you think you're gonna maybe not have difficulty, but like the adapting to having your own place in a new city? Like, what do you think might be the difficulties that you're going to face, or what ways of adapting do you have to take on?
I can give you the ways of adapting, but I promise you it's not going to be difficult. It already hasn't been difficult. So that's something I can detail in a moment. But in terms of things to adapt to is certainly, again, the acceptance and the taking on of those new responsibilities of taking out the trash. I mean, that's unfortunately not going to happen too often, you know, because for me to take out the trash, I'd have to leave it out on Monday and then collect it on Friday. So an unfortunate thing of finding out the trash is only on Thursday mornings. I can't exactly drive over here from Illinois or Indiana and then drive back in one
we
day.
should disclaim that you're still traveling Monday through Friday.
Yeah, and so it's a bit difficult. But one of the gents here, he does work locally, so that's something that he's able to take care of, thankfully, and thanks to him. But adaptability, potential problems, I really,
maybe not problems, but like, what do you feel like is there anything that that's gonna be like a kind of a shock for you? No.
Honestly, no.
Really?
Honestly, no.
You're so confident.
Confident, but also I've been staring at that new empty page for the beginning of this chapter for quite some time. And not even just for 2025. Like I've yearned for this. I've yearned for something within the general realm in a cloudy room of something somewhat resembling this, for a few years now.
Manchester, Columbus.
Right. Manchester, England, Columbus, the Highlands of Scotland.
Wyoming, Salt Lake.
Those will come soon. Yeah, yes, exactly. Well, that's a really good point. Because Salt Lake City and just, Colorado Springs.
Out west.
Or not Colorado Springs. Sorry, not to offend anybody from there, but I love visiting and I love working there, but I don't know if I necessarily want to live there. I would definitely live all the way up in Monument. Really enjoyed Monument. It's up and much away from downtown, but Boulder, which may upset some of the people from Colorado, but I really enjoy Boulder. Definitely western or even well south of Denver. Lone Tree, very nice bougie area, well south of Denver. I really like that area. I'd stay there at a hotel because I was split between working between Boulder and Colorado Springs, and so southern Denver is like just basically a halfway point. But yeah, when I was a nomad, I mean, before I was thinking about going to school, like in 2020, 2021, like my employer and I were just talking about like me moving to Utah or to Colorado, and they were gonna set me up there, and just not set me up, but like help me out, with moving there and stuff like that. Because we were looking at a huge build that we didn't end up getting, but like there was so much, but there has been so much potential and so many opportunities for me to have moved out there at some point. And at many points, and so no, that's a really good point to bring up is that Colorado and Utah were just as hugely potential of locations that I mean, if I hadn't been diagnosed and maybe England didn't work out, like I most certainly would have been in Utah by now. Mm-hmm. Most certainly have been in Utah by now. Because Utah, I feel for in the United States, like Utah, Ohio it's really cool. I enjoy being here. But Utah is definitely my second home or third home. I would say third home. Second home is definitely Scotland, but there a little bit more work would have to be done.
Perhaps Scotland's your first home if you really think about
exactly.
it.
It definitely, but it would also be a bit more difficult for me to just move there. So I can't just rent a place and go, hey, I live here now. So they require a few different things, or a few more things. But yeah, Utah is definitely another home for me. It is because I've since joining my employer in June of 2019, I have spent well over 2 years, like in total time spent there. I would say 2 years, 2.5 years, potentially 3 years of these past, it's going to be 7 years this June. There. Mm-hmm. And then I would say another 1.5 to 2 years. Probably 2 years have been spent in Colorado. Mm-hmm.
I mean, for the audience, you're in a hotel like 300 days.
Yeah, so for Marriott to get to Ambassador Elite, their highest rewards membership, you'd have to spend a lot of money, mm-hmm. which is definitely the one that I have to wait a little bit longer to get. But for like number of nights for stays is like 100. So you have to get the 100 nights and you have to spend $23,000. And it used to be 17, but now it's 23, which I understand. But the 100 nights, I mean, I accomplished mm-hmm. that in about 4.5, 5 months. So yeah. It's before, I like even for this year, I've definitely stayed at Marriott a lot more, just because it's been a bit more fruitful for the locations that I've been to, the cities that I've been to stay at Marriott hotels for nicer properties. And I'm already at like 80 some nights,
right? Yeah.
This year. So I mean, I'll hit that pretty quick. So yeah, I'm in hotels, 5 nights a week. So minimum 20 nights a month, if not more. Mm-hmm. Cause obviously when I do, Utah or Colorado, it's a minimum 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So yeah, yeah, I've lived in hotels for a very long time, and that's the other thing of like, when I say like, to just slightly to slightly go off of and to elaborate more on the safety and security. I learned to try to be as safe and secure as possible when in a hotel, but a lot of all sleep experts that I've listened to and read from that have talked about what the brain does in trying to sleep at a hotel, it starts out very, very low in percentage in terms of like how much you're actually sleeping, how much you're not. And for me, I'm sure that I got to a point to where I can mostly get to sleep and get a good night's rest. Just
your body, I'm sure, has adapted
for the sheer volume. Yeah. But I would say safety and security is another big thing that I get to experience here because this is my home. Mm-hmm. I get to lock the doors. Mm-hmm. I know that the doors are locked, mm-hmm. and nobody can just walk into, like, you know, our front entrance here. Like, nobody can walk into the lobby mm-hmm. of, you know, my of my house. It's sure they can walk up to the front porch, but like that's just where they stop. And so like that, just having that safety and security piece, I think that is, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up just in general mm-hmm. of the travel portion, because that's
I think it's, yeah, I mean, it's a big part of your life, and why, especially settling down in a new city and putting roots down, it's still hard to like say you're putting roots down, right? Because you're still gone so often, and you're still traveling to new cities, and you still have to, I mean, perhaps you've been so used to adapting to new spaces, to new cities, to new places, that here doesn't feel like you said, like it's not that big of an adaptation.
And that's again a really good point. And another thing that gives me an advantage is that I know the area mm-hmm. to a degree. You know, having not lived here, I don't want to say that I'm a local, but like I've traveled the area fairly often. You know, especially again like the Bridge Park. Dublin, Powell not as heavily, but you know, the northwestern corner here of Columbus, I've stayed in hotels here for like weekends, random weekends, competition weekends. So like for the marathon, for the Arnold's, and then any other Columbus event, I always stay in Dublin. Mm-hmm. I always stay in the same exact hotel. And it's, you know, and so that's just like I've really come to love the area. I love being surrounded by, you know, other hardworking people. Not that I haven't been surrounded by hardworking people. I don't know why I have to keep giving a disclaimer, but I just mm-hmm. want to make sure that people don't let it go into one ear, then scramble it up in their minds and just spit it out as something evil or malicious. I just enjoy being around other hardworking people, and I have found that here. Mm-hmm. Like we live in a development of which, you know, has some very, I know that they're hardworking people. I know they're hardworking individuals.
Their houses show it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I wanted. I sure is my bank account going to be as comfortable and having to pay the rent every single month? Maybe not, but I am comforted. I don't know. I am given more confidence in the space of which I am and we are residing in now, due to the factors that I listed before. Mm-hmm. And so I believe that that's certainly a lot of the confidence that I've garnered here. Two very different words. Garnered here is because of the environment that we found and we chose. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, definitely living out of a suitcase, living in hotels, to now coming to here. I think that's a really good point. Again, that I've developed the ability to adapt, mm-hmm. but is it going to be difficult for me to adapt moving into a home? No, not at all. I have the confidence, I have the competence, and I have that ability to adapt. Mm-hmm. So I had all the right inputs for the formula to lead to a solution that was going to be mm-hmm. beneficial, successful, and motivating. And it really, and kind of the last thing that I want to maybe share with everyone here is that it's just it's a different setting and environment for me to sort of change up a little bit the sort of space for creativity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't for when I write, when I create, when I engage in those sort of those journeys, environment is very important for me. I wish, to a point, to a degree, I wish that I was the person that could just sit down in any location at any point, at any time, and rock out something, huge and massive and profound and grotesque in its benefits for society. But like for me, it's just like that happens a lot less often for me than others, and that's totally fine. I definitely love the headphones on in a coffee shop to work. I love the open space with the green and all that stuff to work. Like that's why when I go to I know this is a bit maybe silver spoon of me to say, but like when I go to Scotland, I enjoy my time out in the Highlands because that is time for me to refresh, and I can write some gnarly stuff onto the paper because I'm looking at some of the most beautiful works of art that Mother Nature has gifted us. Mm-hmm. Sitting right in front of it, just in awe, just in shock and in awe, and inspired to write something incredible. But sitting in my rental car at a property, eating lunch in a cafeteria or a break room or something like that, and then I'm in some hotel. Like it's just, for me, I still create. I still obviously get to work, but if you want something really profound out of me, give me a month or two in a cabin in the Highlands or something like that. Like that's where the best is going to come out of me. And so when it comes to that side of creativity, I think of also being able to explore more and to envelop myself in this, sort of incredible and diverse like palette of options for coffee shops, for parks, for woods. Like there's a bunch of walking paths through woods around here. 'Cause, I mean, we're well outside of 270, and so we're not that far from just like nature reservations and stuff like that. So it's just it's really cool to have that absolute diverse portfolio of options to just go into being creative at different spots and find that spot. Like I may go to 2 coffee shops and find out that I love the second one. It may take 12 different coffee shop visits to go, hey, that one is really going to be the one for me.
What about, so how do you feel with, like, I love this conversation about just creativity and environment because it's so massively important. Like I'm the same way. I've been in a very similar place recently of where I have not been able to feel like I can produce. I've been finding new ways to feel like I am producing work that is as meaningful as when I had my own office that I had with my beautiful executive desk, and I had my desktop, my laptop, I had my journals, I had all of my my notebooks and my journals in a drawer, and I had like my favorite pens, and I had a beautiful office that I felt incredibly inspired in, that I was able to sit down and write and like shut the doors and be quiet and put music on and hone in the creativity. And now being in a basement at my parents' house, like, and next to a bunch of moving boxes, and I have like literally my laptop propped up on bins, right? Or I'm trying to find coffee shops around the city too to stop and get work done, and of course like in hotels as well. And environment's so important, and I do really believe that I'm creating a lot of very valuable content right now in just my writing because of that experience, because of having to step outside of my comfort zone and maybe not get up on the same side of the bed every day, right? Like that can spark creativity for sure, of when you're kind of in a new environment, a new space, and you're exercising your brain in a different way. And I do feel like I have been creating a lot of really great content out of it. However, environment's so important to hone that in and to, I guess, get into that kind of like meditative flow state that you get in. So again, in this space of creativity and environment, not only for your own work, your own writing, and some of the content you write, but like for Impossible Performance, like how do you feel like this new space is going to just be a space for you to really water that and plant some seeds here, but really like how is this going to be a better environment for the business?
Well, it won't be a better
yourself.
environment. It's merely more space. It's a second option. It's a second studio. It's a studio for people who aren't able to travel that far away from Columbus. It's a kitchen that we can film a bunch of, and we will be filming meal prep videos for you all. So that's going to be exciting.
This weekend.
Yes. And many more will come, more than what we're going to be, showcasing here at the beginning. But like, it's not that it's a better space. It's more space. It's a doubling of space for us to produce for you all. Like that's what this is. And so I feel not only does it give us more space, but it's a different. It literally is it's a different setup. It's a different environment. It's a different
atmosphere.
It's
right?
It's a different the colors in the kitchen are different. The walls are painted a different color. The flooring is different. It's just a different space. It's more space for us to be able to get in and to utilize and take advantage of those things if we need to or if we want to. And that is just. Yeah, and that's what I saw as another advantage and something that wasn't going to be a difficult thing to adapt to coming into this new home was I went into the realm of so many different types of headaches. Staring at that computer screen, staring at that laptop screen, looking at photos of different homes, looking at the interiors of different homes. I found that I loved the open landscape or open concept or whatever it was. I don't listen. You call it whatever you'd like. It was awesome that we had living room, kitchen, and dining room all in one.
Yep. Open concept.
But
then you had this studio space because that was so important when you were looking for a place, was somewhere for the podcast and for
have the office space, which was again, this is going to work out fantastic. No, is it a
soundproof
24 by 20 space of just like high ceilings and all that. It's just it's going to work. And we're going to make it work, and we're going to utilize it to the best that we can, and to take advantage of what it can offer. So in this case here, we can close the doors. We'll get some soundproofing into here to reduce some of the echo and reverb that you guys are hearing right now, potentially, that you all are hearing right now, potentially. But again, it's just a second space for us to decorate, to, like you said, to furnish, and that I feel. And opportunities like that are just so much more like there's no like hard turn involved in that. I was ready to turn the steering wheel. I saw the curve in the road, and I'm like, great, let's go. Bam, we'll go that way. Was I able to see 4 miles down the road after that? No, this isn't Northwestern Ohio. It's not flat, farmlands. There was a curve, and I've been passing a lot of beautiful homes and a lot of beautiful trees, but let's just kind of hope that that's where it's going to lead from there. But I've done my research to know that this road should lead past more incredible things. And so I feel that, again, it wasn't difficult to adapt to the setting. I was ready for it. I was absolutely ready for it. I was ready for the opportunities it was going to bring. I was ready for the advantages that we could really not only take but attack. And ultimately it's going to lead to, I feel and we feel, I mean, we just hosted Matt and Lauren and Lily, and they loved it. The space is incredible, and
there's plenty of room for them to continue to
come
come
and
up
there's
and
plenty
stay,
of room
right?
for Lily to run around too. So it's fantastic, you know. And it's hardwood floors, so she doesn't have to worry about some high carpet. She can just run. And so, and it was incredible having them over too, you know, to host them and to show them, because maybe to end on a more emotional note is that, you know, they're the ones that took me in. They have you know, furnished and remodeled rooms for me. They gave, you know, they fed me, you know, when disability checks weren't coming in and stuff like that, or just from the kindness of their heart. You know, they took care of me for quite some time, and in times to where I really needed someone. And they came in not only clutch, but with open arms and very warm hearts. And so to be able to show them, don't and to be able to go and say, hey, like, this the words are on the tip of my tongue. This is me being able to, this is me having the opportunity to continue life and to pursue my impossible. This is where I'm able to come in and say, thank you. I am here doing this now because of you. Yeah. If I hadn't found them before I was diagnosed, I who the hell knows where I'd be right now. I have some ideas, and that's why I know that my time here will no longer be wasted. It will be taken advantage of. It will be attacked. It will be
utilized for good.
It'll be utilized for good, but it won't be taken for granted, because that's how life for me was before the diagnosis. And that's, you know, and that's why I had so much joy when I thought I was going to school for music, because I just, life for me was fine, but it was just so overwhelmingly comfortable that I was going nowhere. So,
I mean, and you've expressed to me and conversations about this before of just, you know, I think having I think having that kind of support and someone to show up for you in that way. This isn't even my story, right? Like, and it's just because
it's difficult.
Yeah. Of course, I've had people in my life who have showed up for me like that as well. However, for people to show up for you like that out of just
the kindness of their heart.
yeah, the goodness of their heart. Okay. I mean, it changes you fundamentally, and like, again, like you've expressed to me before, and to just be in pursuit of service to others, to be that for other people as well.
No, it's in reciprocation of what I've received over the past 4 years. Is because, as we talked before about this, you know, sacrifice and burning the self that was getting you nowhere, to allow the person that will take you to where you need to be can grow. Like, that was me finding the impossible, but like finding Matt, you know, at talking to some random person at a mutual friend of ours, you know, wedding reception. I was talking to a random person about the carnivore diet, and Matt overheard the conversation, you know, at the table next to the food table, and he was just like, "Hey, I'm on that," you know. And then what's 5.5, 6 years now from that, it's engaging in that conversation with him was the single most important decision I've ever made. Was rekindling a friendship that, I mean, we had at university, but you know, we just like 99+% of the people that I met at university, I just no longer talk to, except for, you know, obviously for a few brothers, and yeah, so for that to have come from talking about, you know, something at the time so manly, because I mean, it was 2020, the carnivore diet,
meat,
right? Yeah, the carnivore diet was, you know, really, really new, and all this stuff, and we're like, oh, cavemen,
meat, protein, cook fire, cook chicken on fire,
and to then turn into something
life-saving,
yeah. Yeah, I'm here because of them. And this new chapter was possible because of yeah, we're gonna have to take that out.
Possible because of someone flushing the toilet.
Flushing the toilet.
This is where Matt will put his school hat. Let me briefly interrupt Austin and Marissa crying for this quick advertisement on school.com.
With a K. What was I even talking about?
Okay. The last thing that we said was that carnivore diet.
Okay, man, food, eat.
Yeah, but it, like, the last,
it
saved your life. Just that conversation. And you are here now.
Yeah, and so they saved my life. It led to me being able to look at this new chapter with excitement, but also the fact that I get to experience a new chapter like this. And that is what I'm most grateful for. That is why I'm here. And now I get to live life with the love of my life, an incredible family, and an incredible place that I get to call home for 11 months and 1 week more. So,
and who knows what after that? Maybe
yeah,
Salt Lake City.
Yeah, just.
Or maybe
I would love that.
Or maybe we renew the lease and I move in.
It is all possible
We'll
because
see.
of them, and that is why us here at Impossible Performance are pushing forward. So
beautiful new beginnings for Impossible Performance as well.
Yeah, a new chapter for it as well. And
really, honestly, like some really cool big things happening.
Yeah.
With the business, so.
Yeah,
this
please check out
opportunity to the flourish.
Yeah, and again, that was sort of the point, you know, and that's where I and we reach out to everyone here watching or listening. Please check out our school. The link to it will be down below. School with a K. We have really, really, really exciting things going on there. You get to meet incredible people. You get to talk to incredible people. You get to share your story, your impossible pursuits, quotes, training updates, all of the above. We are expanding the classroom heavily now that, like we alluded to before, now that we have this space here, we have so much more recording space and unique environments to be able to really get the best of courses to you, from meal prep to time management that's already up there, to mental states, emotional states, and spirituality, physicality, and so much more to come from that. And yeah, it's a really exciting platform. Please check it out. And join us on there. It'd be fantastic to see you on there and to hear from you and to see what y'all are up to. That's where you get access to us. You get access to behind the scenes of the podcast itself. You get
monthly group calls with you guys.
Yeah, monthly group calls. But you also get to submit questions for guests. So we'll let you know when we have a guest coming up. And we'll ask. Oh, excuse me. We'll ask them questions from you guys, and
first access to episodes as well as soon as they drop.
Yep, you get the drop on Monday instead of Tuesday. So, and that's the YouTube link as well. You'll get to watch, so you get to see it or listen to it from there. But yeah, school. It's a really exciting platform. It's definitely a fresh platform that will continue to grow rapidly, and we really want to get you on there as soon as possible, because it is a space for you to grow with others who are also looking to grow or have grown and wanting to share their experiences with you and give you that hand in moments to where you may need it. So get on there. Please, if you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe. It's free to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications. And then if you're on Spotify or Apple Music, just give it a like, download give it a download or whatever you do on Apple, at least. But with Spotify, you can download. You can download it. Yeah.
Share it with.
Yeah, and share it. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I'm not used to doing the outros, so bear with me. But
I'm trying to remember the things Matt
right.
normally.
Yeah. And definitely, the number one thing that we ask you is to share this with others who you think would help. And so it really, as you were able to see there just a moment ago, it's something that has truly impacted us in unique ways, but also in a shared experience. And so for you to be able to share that with someone who you care about, who may be going through something a little bit more rough, downtime, even uptime, and anybody who thinks going through a new beginning, trying to tackle on a new chapter, and maybe want to reach out, have a couple questions and want some assistance in getting through it. Like that's what we're here for. So, because us here at Impossible Performance are striving to build a global culture of strength, fostering a spirit of growth, and constant pursuit of the impossible. Take care, and as always, be impossible.